The stage was glowing beneath a sea of golden lights. Cameras were flashing from every direction, and the atmosphere inside the awards ceremony had already reached an unforgettable level of excitement. Celebrities, reporters, and fans were all watching carefully as the evening moved from one emotional moment to another. But nobody expected that one of the most talked about moments of the night would involve two of Korea's most beloved stars, Lee Min-ho and Song Haiko. As Lee Min-ho stepped onto the stage, the crowd immediately erupted into applause. His calm smile and elegant appearance drew the attention of everyone in the room. He had attended countless major events throughout his career, but there was something different about this particular moment. He appeared thoughtful, almost as though he had something personal on his mind. The presenter welcomed him and asked him about the people who had made his journey meaningful. Lee Min-ho smiled before taking a brief pause. Instead of immediately giving the expected answer about his career, his fans, or his colleagues, he looked toward the audience. Then came the words that would supposedly leave everyone speechless. In this fan-created story, Lee Min-ho gently mentioned Song Haiko and described her as one of the greatest blessings in his life. For a few seconds, the room seemed to become completely still. The cameras quickly turned towards Song Haiko, who was sitting among the guests. Her expression reportedly changed from surprise to a warm, almost shy smile. She appeared touched by the unexpected mention, while people around her reacted with excitement. Of course, moments like this can become incredibly powerful when two famous stars are involved. Lee Min-ho and Song Haiko have both built extraordinary careers, earning admiration from audiences around the world. Even without a confirmed romantic relationship between them, fans have often enjoyed imagining what it would be like to see the two stars share a special connection. That is exactly why the imagined statement carried so much emotional weight. Lee Min-ho continued speaking about gratitude. Rather than focusing entirely on awards, fame, or success, he reflected on the people who bring meaning to a person's journey. He explained that achievements become more valuable when there are people who inspire you, encourage you, and remind you to remain grateful. When Song Haiko's name entered the conversation, the audience reacted immediately. Some fans smiled. Others raised their phones to capture the moment. Online viewers following the ceremony began discussing the interaction almost instantly. What made the moment especially touching was not simply the name itself. It was the idea behind the word blessing. Calling someone a blessing suggests that their presence has brought something meaningful into your life. It can represent friendship, inspiration, admiration, or a special emotional connection. In this fictional scenario, Lee Min-ho's choice of words created the impression that Song Haiko represented something deeply valuable to him. Song Haiko appeared to listen carefully. Her smile became the focus of attention as Lee Min-ho continued. She did not need to say much. Her quiet reaction seemed to tell its own story, at least in the imagination of the fans watching. The atmosphere inside the venue became even more emotional when Lee Min-ho spoke about how difficult it can be to maintain sincerity in an industry filled with pressure and expectations. He emphasized the importance of having people around you who can make you feel comfortable being yourself. At that moment, the audience began connecting his words to Song Haiko. Was he simply talking about someone he respected? Was he describing a friendship? Was it an expression of gratitude toward a fellow artist? Or was there a deeper meaning behind his words? The story deliberately leaves those questions unanswered. That uncertainty is what makes the imagined moment so captivating. Fans have always been fascinated by unexpected interactions between major Korean stars. A simple smile, a glance across a room, or a few carefully chosen words can become the subject of countless conversations. In this imagined awards night scene, Lee Min-ho's words became the emotional center of the entire evening. He then turned slightly towards Song Haiko. The crowd reacted with another wave of applause. Song Haiko smiled and lowered her head for a moment, seemingly embarrassed by all the attention. Lee Min-ho smiled as well, creating a warm atmosphere that fans immediately found unforgettable. The presenter laughed gently and asked whether there was anyone else he wanted to thank. Lee Min-ho responded by talking about the people who had supported him throughout different chapters of his life. He acknowledged his family, colleagues, fans, and everyone who had contributed to his journey. Yet the mention of Song Haiko remained the moment everyone remembered. The imagined scene quickly became larger than the awards ceremony itself. Within minutes, fans were discussing the moment on social media. Screenshots of Song Haiko's reaction began circulating, while viewers created edits combining images of both stars. Some fans described the moment as beautiful. Others called it emotional. and some simply wished that the two actors would appear together in a drama someday. The excitement was understandable because both stars have enormous international fan bases. Their individual careers have already produced unforgettable characters, performances, and moments. Bringing their names together naturally creates curiosity. But there was another important element to the story. Lee Min-ho did not describe Song Haiko merely as a successful actress. In this fictional narrative, he described her as someone whose presence represented gratitude and inspiration. That distinction made the imagined statement feel more personal. The room gradually returned to the normal rhythm of the ceremony, but the emotional energy remained. Song Haiko continued smiling as the event progressed. Lee Min-ho eventually left the stage, receiving another round of applause. As he walked away from the microphone, he briefly looked back toward the audience. The moment lasted only a few seconds. But for fans, those few seconds were enough to create an entire story. What if the two stars really did have a special friendship? What if they had quietly supported each other away from the cameras? What if their relationship was simply one of mutual respect that fans had interpreted in their own way? No one could know from a single imagined moment. And perhaps that is exactly why the story became so fascinating. As the awards ceremony continued, attention slowly shifted towards Song Haiko. She was eventually invited to speak on stage as well. The audience welcomed her with loud applause, and she walked forward with a calm elegance that fans have come to associate with her public appearances. The presenter smiled and asked her about the evening. Song Haiko thanked everyone and spoke about the importance of appreciating the people who walk alongside you. She mentioned that success is never achieved alone, and that every chapter of an artist's life contains people who leave meaningful memories. The audience immediately began wondering whether her words were connected to Lee Min-ho's earlier statement. Again, the story does not provide a definitive answer. Instead, it focuses on the emotional atmosphere created between two respected stars. Song Haiko smiled when she mentioned gratitude. She then looked briefly toward the audience, where Lee Min-ho was seated. The crowd noticed. A wave of excitement passed through the venue. Lee Min-ho responded with a smile. That tiny exchange became another unforgettable moment in the fan-created story. There was no dramatic confession. There was no public declaration of romance. There was simply a quiet exchange between two people who appeared to appreciate one another. And sometimes, fans find those subtle moments even more meaningful. As Song Haiko continued speaking, she explained that the most valuable blessings in life are not always material things. They can be people who inspire you, teach you something, make you laugh, or stand beside you during difficult moments. Her words resonated with the audience. Some fans immediately connected them to Lee Min-ho's earlier comments. The internet, naturally, began creating its own interpretation. Some fans imagined that the two actors had developed a strong friendship over the years. Others dreamed about seeing them collaborate on a major romantic drama. Still others simply enjoyed the emotional story without treating it as evidence of anything happening in real life. And that distinction matters. The story is a fan-created fictional scenario, not a verified report of Lee Min-ho actually calling Song Haiko his greatest blessing at an awards ceremony. Nevertheless, the imagined moment works because it explores something universal: gratitude towards someone whose presence matters. The awards ceremony eventually reached its final stage. The lights became softer. The audience stood and applauded the night's winners. Lee Min-ho and Song Haiko were both surrounded by colleagues and other celebrities, but fans continued watching for another interaction. As the ceremony came to an end, the two stars supposedly crossed paths backstage. According to the fictional story, Lee Min-ho congratulated Song Haiko on the evening and thanked her for her kind words. She smiled and responded warmly. There was no need for a dramatic speech. The exchange was simple, but it carried the emotional message that had defined the entire evening: appreciation. For fans watching from around the world, the imagined scene became a reminder of why celebrity moments can feel so powerful. People do not always connect with stars simply because they are famous. They connect with the emotions surrounding them: their performances, their stories, their struggles, their achievements, and the relationships they portray on screen. Lee Min-ho and Song Haiko have both spent years creating characters that have made audiences laugh, cry, dream, and believe in love. That is why the possibility of seeing them together, even in a fictional story, immediately captures attention. Imagine a future drama featuring both actors. Imagine Lee Min-ho playing a man who has lost faith in love, while Song Haiko portrays a woman who teaches him that life can begin again. Imagine their characters meeting unexpectedly after years apart. Imagine the quiet conversations, the emotional misunderstandings, the dramatic reunions, and eventually the realization that they had been important to each other all along. For fans, those possibilities are endless. But returning to the award ceremony, the most memorable element remains the word blessing. It is a powerful word because it expresses gratitude rather than possession. In the fictional story, Lee Min-ho is not saying that song Haiko belonged to him. Instead, the imagined meaning was that her presence represented something valuable and beautiful. That makes the moment feel more mature and heartfelt. The audience eventually began leaving the venue. Outside, reporters waited for photographs and reactions. Inside, fans continued talking about the emotional exchange. By the following morning, fictional headlines had transformed the short stage moment into a major fan discussion. Lee Min-ho's greatest blessing? Why did he mention Song Haikyo? Song Haikyo's reaction leaves fans emotional. The imagined story spread because it gave fans something they love, a beautiful possibility. Yet behind all the excitement is a simple truth. Admiration does not always need to become romance. Two people can inspire each other without being a couple. Two artists can respect each other without having a secret relationship. And two famous actors can share a meaningful moment without the public knowing the full story behind it. That is perhaps the most beautiful interpretation of the imagined awards night scene. Lee Min-ho stands beneath the stage lights, speaking about gratitude. Song Haikyo listens quietly. The cameras capture her smile. The audience applauds. And for one brief moment, the noise of fame disappears, leaving behind a simple message about appreciating the people who make life meaningful. Whether fans imagine the connection as friendship, admiration, inspiration, or something more, the emotional appeal remains. The stage lights eventually fade. The cameras stop recording. The audience goes home. But the imagined words remain in the hearts of fans. Sometimes, the greatest blessings in life are not awards, money, or fame. Sometimes, they are the people who make the journey worth remembering. And in this fan-created story, Song Haikyo becomes that symbol for Lee Min-ho, a person whose presence represents gratitude, inspiration, and an unforgettable chapter in a beautiful imagined story. For fans of both stars, perhaps the greatest dream is not necessarily to prove a romance exists. Perhaps it is simply to see Lee Min-ho and Song Haikyo sharing the screen someday, creating another story that millions of people can enjoy. Until then, the stage lights can remain a place of imagination. A place where a single smile can become a story. A few words can become a memory. And two beloved stars can inspire millions of fans to believe that sometimes the most beautiful stories are the ones we imagine together.